It's Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023 AD. We are streaming on all platforms, unlike JLP. Ha ha. And then I get suspended too. No, hopefully I don't. And we cherish women, right? It's Women's History Month. And don't worry, ladies, you fretful ladies. The ADL is going to stop hate before it starts with the AI.
We work with Google on using AI to try to interrupt cyber hate before it happens. We work with YouTube to get them to change their algorithms. We work with Facebook on trying to use a redirect method.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jonathan Greenblatt. Save us from the hate. Hat tip to Red Ice TV. That guy, Henrik Palmgren, however you spell his name. That was Jonathan Greenblatt, not a Christian. He's from the Anti-Defamation League. He wants to stop cyber hate. Psh, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Check yourself, buddy. Check yourself. How about that? And he's not my buddy. But there's racism all over the white world. In UK, in London. Can you believe it? Even though they have the rainbow, radical homosexual virtue signaling stuff, the UK London police, the Met police, are racist and sexist and homophobic. So I'm finally going to get to that clip. I don't know if I'm going to play this exterminate white people clip. It's an old clip that was probably heard on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times. But it was making the rounds on Twitter today. There's this nutty lady on TikTok who put out her business out there per another competitor host named Mrs. Jelly Santos, who said she put out that her husband cheated on her, allegedly, according to her. And the husband told her, once he found out that she told all the business, he told her to leave it up. But she's begging the people who are trying to they doxed him, right? Take his job away from him because it's a one-income home. What a mess. Oh, Wirecast is frozen. Okay, no worries. So it's terrible. It's ridiculous. And I'll also cover maybe the schools strike in LA. You heard a little bit about it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, probably more than you'll hear here. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the hate report. La la la. Oh, it's the hate report. The hate report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the hate report. The hate report. La la la. Oh, it's the hate report. The hate report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. We have some technical difficulties. If you're like, how come Hake's not going away from the screen? I'm sick of looking at him. Well, I want the Hake Reports intro splash screen. Just complicated business, folks. Complicated business. I am wearing my Great Black Hope t-shirt. It's a picture of JLP, courtesy of, I bought it from the Jesse Lee Peterson store. There is a Jesse Lee Peterson store. And you can go to rebuildingtheman.com/stores to find it. I have my own stuff on the Hake Report Teespring store, but don't worry about that. Maybe I'll get some more. Maybe I'll get some more different t-shirts. It's ridiculous. Because I am remiss in not uploading other designs. I don't even think I have a black ink I Love Boomers t-shirt. But, you know, somebody said in the chat Somebody said, fighting hate for good. Interesting slogan. Yeah. Fighting hate for good. That's the ADL, Anti-Defamation League. They make their business defaming the whites and bringing infamy among the Jewish people, bringing more resentment on the Jewish people because they are for censorship and for being liberals and being evil and being very unchristian and anti-Christian, pushing the gay agenda, pushing the globo-homo stuff, and all that mess. It's terrible. And JLP, if you don't know, he is suspended on YouTube. It's terrible. For no reason. Some video 2 years ago, I was shaking my head. But you can find the Jesse Lee Peterson Show always on jesseleepeterson.com/show or jlptalk.com and on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson when there's not a DDoS attack. DDoS, I call it, because I'm ignorant. And you can find it on cozy.tv/JLP, dlive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson. And I discriminate against DLive, the DLive crew, because DLive is tough to get money from. Even though I have supporters on DLive, it's hard to get money out of them because they're Chinese. Very tight, those Chinese people. But let me share with you about the UK, United Kingdom. In London specifically, this was a tweet from Talk TV on Twitter. The Metropolitan Police is institutionally racist, misogynist, and homophobic, a damning review has found. Damning means sending to hell. Don't say that, kids. Sending it to hell. That review came from hell. They want to pull the cops down into hell with them? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the cops are already down there with them. Institutionally racist, misogynist, and homophobic Metropolitan Police slammed in a report. And who made this report? Some woman. The force has failed to protect the public from officers who abuse women. It has racist officers in its ranks, and a deep-seated homophobia exists. So there is hope for London. Shout out to London, our brothers in England, UK, United Kingdom. Organizational, and they spell it the English way, not the American way, with a Z. Organizational changes have also put women and children at greater risk, and female officers and staff routinely experience sexism. There's female officers? Psh. Baroness Casey conducted the review. Baroness is, I'm assuming that's a woman. I'm pretty sure that's a woman. Conducted the review, said it is rigorous, stark, and unsparing. I know Louise Casey, Baroness Casey of Blackstock. Louise, with a late Louise? I don't know. She's a woman, indeed. I found a picture of her. Let me drag this into the folder. Oh, you got it? Nice. Portly young lady. Not that young. Mildly attractive hair. Her hair is mildly attractive. She's smiling. I'm looking at... Oh, yeah, there you found her. This lady... I'm going to trust her report. Rigorous, stark, and unsparing. The review was commissioned after this woman named Sarah Everard was murdered by serving officer Wayne Cousins. And I don't know anything about that story, but some woman got murdered by a cop. The findings reinforce the McPherson inquiry in 1999, which found the force was institutionally racist after the murder of Stephen Lawrence and abject failures to investigate his death. Since then, the force has remained largely white and male, which that's fine. What's wrong with that? The review found. Baroness Casey. I knew of a baroness in the Baroness from G.I. Joe. She was a bad guy. Sort of. That is absolutely not mildly attractive, says King Alpha Tango. Lady Seesaw's laughing at my use of the word portly. Oh, look at her. Oh, fancy. Ridiculous. Looks like a clown. Probably an, what is that? What is that garb? That looks like university type people, hoity-toity university type people wear that type of stuff. Nice.
Yeah, social policy pioneer receives honorary degree from Aston University.
Oh, she got an honorary degree. Women. These white countries. Terrible. Did Hake just call her mildly attractive? I said her hair was nice. Baroness Casey called for the Met. The Met is the name for the cops over there, I guess. Apparently, right? To change itself, adding it is not our job as the public to keep ourselves safe from the police. They have worse problems than the police, I would guess. Her 363-page report. The more you write, the less you look like you know what you're talking about, is what a black professor once told us in African-American history at Pasadena City College. The more you write, the less you look like you know what you're talking about. 363 pages. Too much detail, in my opinion. Finds widespread bullying. Bullying? That's a woman word. Within the Met, and a fifth of the staff with protected characteristics are victimized. And they spell victimized the British way. Psh, shout out to the Brits. The report concludes that violence against women and girls has not been taken as seriously as other forms of violence. Probably because other forms of violence are like murder, maybe? Don't know. Officers investigating such crimes are relying on overstuffed, dilapidated, or broken fridges and freezers instead of fast-track forensic services. Oh, they're talking about rape kits and stuff, probably. The force's Child Protection Service, which probably shouldn't exist by and large, have major inadequacies despite a watchdog issuing the most severely critical report in its history on the issue in 2016. Baroness Casey accused the Met of a tick box approach. Tick. We got some blacks. Tick. We got some gays. Tick. We got some women. Tick. We got some Indians. There's a lot of Indians in Canada and UK, I gather. Some of them call my show. Some of them are sensible. They approached a slew of negative reports of performance blaming individual bad apples rather than tackling systemic, there's a liberal word, systemic problems. It said a culture of denial in the force is a we know best attitude, but concluded the problem in the force is not its size but inadequate management. The report called for a complete overhaul of the Met and a new approach to restore public trust and confidence through 16 recommended changes. I wonder what those 16 changes are. I don't have them for you, but I probably want to spit at some of them. Or spit at the spittoon insides at the thought of some of them. The reforms are of a significant scale and on par with the transformation of the Royal Ulster Constabulary Constable thing, Ori, of the police service of Northern Ireland at the end of the last century, whatever that is. Oh, so they cucked, oh, sorry, kids, Ireland in the end of the last century, and they're trying to do the same thing they did to the UK, Northern Ireland. I'm shaking my head. It's ridiculous. The West has civilizational AIDS, says, spoiler alert. Isn't that the truth? Globo homo. It's ridiculous. Lord have mercy. Let me play for you some clips, because Talk TV is all excited about this. That article was from Talk TV that I just read to you. Here's this lady named Julia. She's a mildly attractive older lady from, TV, British TV. British TV. They kicked Jesse Lee Peterson off of there for saying the truth about Black Lives Matter being founded by a bunch of fat, black, radical lesbians. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, social justice warriors. Julia challenges Transport Secretary Mark Harper, and these male government officials that that these media ladies are talking to, this media lady is talking to, they're a bunch of kiss-ups. It's ridiculous. Over the Casey review, I guess that's Baroness Casey, into the Met Police, Julia says, we have a Met that is far too woke, but behind closed doors is corrupt. That sounds redundant. If you're saying the word woke in terms of being liberal and anti-racist and stupid stuff like that, how makes me want to spit that word. And so this Mark Harper says, here, listen to this clip. It's about 1 minute and 18 seconds long, cut down from a 4 minute and 30 second. There may be other stuff in there that you want to check out if you're so interested. But here's the mess.
Do you find it strange to understand the idea that we've got a police force which, on the face of it, is obsessed with wearing pride flags, painting rainbow, flags on the side of their police cars, obsessed with hate crimes supposedly involving Islamophobia or racism when people have simply expressed perfectly normal points of view, and obsessed with positive discrimination and all of this, far too woke, many would say. But behind the scenes, as soon as the police car door is closed or the police station's door is closed, actually is misogynistic, homophobic, racist and corrupt. How do we tally these two images that we have of the Met Police?
Well, look, there are lots of very troubling examples in Louise's report that she's compiled by actually talking to many police officers inside the Met about their very troubling experiences, both the way women are treated, and people from ethnic minorities and lesbian and gay officers as well. And she's got lots of examples of very poor practice. That needs to be changed. I think the most important thing is the Metropolitan Police focus on dealing with the day job, which is dealing with crime and keeping Londoners safe.
Duh. Don't you like his accent? Who cares about England, Hank? I know, but it's the same thing that's happening here too. And they didn't even have slavery in London or England, did they? It's terrible. Here's another clip from this mess. Here she is confronting another guy who was a former Met police officer, detective, and he's all old. His name is Peter Blexley, I guess, and he's even worse of a kiss-up. Listen to this, 2 minutes long. Listen to this.
Purposes, rape has been legalised in London because the conviction rate is so low. That is incredibly damning, but also incompetence as well. This is something I've been talking about for a long time. Rape kit samples being kept in a freezer that broke and a freezer that they couldn't close, so overstuffed. And then, of course, all that evidence is lost, so therefore they can no longer make the prosecution. I've had a case where I just had a video of something I'd taken on my phone of these guys attacking someone in their car. The police lost the video on the CD 3 times. I sent it to them, by email. They lost it by email. How do you lose it by email? Just a complete abject level of incompetence. Now, can we blame individual officers for that, or does it all come down fundamentally to management, to leadership, to Sir Mark Rowley right now, the Met Police Commissioner, the most senior police officer in the land, Dame Cressida Dick previously?
Every officer in the Met is going to have to bear responsibility for this report. And many might not want to hear that because they'll say, well, I'm a good officer. OK, so you are. But have you always confronted wrongdoing? Oh,
but now that's easy to say, isn't it? But we know that the officers who do confront wrongdoing, who say, look, I thought, that stop and search was wrong, or your treatment of another officer, I mean, that they will then be sent to Coventry. No one will work with them. They are treated appallingly by their colleagues. And that canteen culture basically forces good people out.
And that has to change. The
How
whistleblowers,
do you change that?
The whistleblowers have to be welcomed and seen as a good thing. And Metropolitan Police officers are going to have to be better cops and braver human beings than I was. Because in my time on the front line, I did not confront that wrongdoing. albeit it was a long time ago. I make no excuses.
And you're,
so
you're a strong character. You're very sort of, you've got a very sort of, I think there's a backbone of steel in you. Why didn't you?
Because I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be part of the team.
Wow, what a mess. This guy, albeit it was a long time ago. I make no excuses for it. But he said it's a long time ago, downplaying it. Loser. What did you see? You're sitting up there all high and mighty, comfy inside that mainstream media studio with this woman. Middle-aged but mildly attractive woman. I like his accent, says Gregatron. Me too. That's partly why I play these clips, because wasn't it kind of nice to hear those British people? I could just hear them talk all day. Even though it's not correct American English. It's not fully human English, as Lin Yan Chin might say. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Kevin Howe says, the lady's coming at this from the angle that minorities are being picked on by police, when actually the corruption is the opposite. Yeah, I mean, they're hiring all these corrupt people to become police now. You know, the white cops leaving in droves around the country in America. The older cops, the ones who are like sensible, they're like, I'm out of here. Got to protect my life, my not going to court for frivolous murder charges or whatever. They're cutting down the, I don't know, they're doing all kinds of mess. You can't say, hey, guys, in public. If you work for the government, you can't say, hey, guys, because that's gendered language. Ridiculous. Guys means guys and gals. It's not gendered. And gals shouldn't even be working that much in these fields. Or were you supposed to say, hey, gays? Nah, sorry, kids. Don't say that. Ridiculous. Shameful. It's terrible. The police forces are shrinking. You know, like in Memphis, Tennessee, they had those new hires who beat up that guy to death, allegedly. He brought it on himself, though. Let's be honest. Tyree Nichols, he brought it on himself, but the police were understaffed, supposedly overworked, according to... By the way, did you guys catch my interview with on the other guy's show? Caught in the Middle? YouTube.com/@CaughtInTheMiddle 0823. Caught in the Middle. A military veteran type of a guy. He's sort of a libertarian, but he's pro-Trump. Or was, anyway. I think he still kind of is, especially compared to Sleepy Joe. He said some things about Sleepy Joe that I wouldn't say. But he's talking about how, like, the cops are, like, not as trained. And the people are not trained up right in the right way to go. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? The people are worse. So, of course, the cops are people, too. The cops are going to be worse, too. But, let's focus on that. How about mainstream media correction? Reform. Black reform. Fly the Dixie flag in honor of freedom of speech. Maybe if I get kicked off of YouTube, I'll put it back up. I don't know. Should I? This is the Revolutionary War guy, I think. Continental soldier of the Revolution. At the beginning of the American Revolution. Is this why we left the UK? Were they called the UK? We left England? Uniforms for the soldiers were whatever each colony or regimental colonel could provide, including captured British Army clothing. By late 1778, until the end of the war, uniforms were imported from France. They helped us. France helped us. Thanks, France. France was like the globo homo. France to America was globo homo to Ukraine. But I don't know if that's the same. I'm pro France for that only. And I like how Macron got along with Trump, even though Macron was a liberal. Here's my rebel flag. You happy? For 2 weeks since I'm not with JLP. Terrible. But yeah, thank you to Caught in the Middle. I had fun last night. This is a loosey-goosey Wednesday show. Let me get to Dawson in Hawaii on the line. Dawson, thanks for calling and holding. How are you doing, and what time is it over there?
Good morning, hey.
Morning.
Oh, yeah, it's morning over here. It's 6:30, almost 6:30.
Wow, 3 hours difference. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Should I just get right into it then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like to talk about the Bible and stuff like that, so I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay, cool. So you're Christian and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay, cool. Me too. Do you fear God?
No, I don't think I do. I think I kind of know that I should, but
That's an honest question. That's an honest answer.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I fear him.
In the right way or in a sort of a scared way?
No, in the right way.
And how is that?
Okay. Well, I have to do a little bit of research on the topic because I didn't really understand the idea about it.
Yeah.
But it's mentioned 3 times in the Old Testament. It's not like I was the one who went and dug up the verses, but there's a pastor out there that I was able to find on YouTube.
I didn't know there was only 3 times that it mentioned that.
Well, no, there's 3 times it mentions about learning to fear the Lord, right?
Okay.
And then one of them was I think it was like in Proverbs or something. He says talking about to a king, right? A father's to a son, but a king saying that you got to read the Bible every day.
Somebody said that?
And no, in the Bible it says that. It says you got to read the Bible every day, and you will learn to fear the Lord.
Meditate on these words of the law every day and night, something like that?
No, it's a different verse.
It doesn't say anything about the Bible in the Bible.
Oh, no, well, because the kings had remember the kings and stuff like that? They had their own, because the Pharisees and stuff, they had their own teachings, and they had the prophets, and they had books and stuff like that, their own kind of Torah.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they had like a Torah back then, though.
The Torah was the first, I think the Torah's, correct me if I'm wrong, is that not the first? I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Nick, the former atheist. Is it the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah? It's the first 5. That's what the Torah is, I heard. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, something like that.
Yeah, and so a king was telling his son, a king or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So the king, he had those resources, but he was saying that to read every day and you will learn to fear the Lord. And another one was to talk about the things that the Lord did, and give him glory every day, and you will learn to fear the Lord. And the other one was to pay your tithings to the church, and you will learn to fear the Lord. So you have to do those 3 things, and then you will learn to fear the Lord. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you do all those things? You do those things?
Yeah.
After having researched that stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got right. I mean, I didn't get right on it at that time, but I found how actually important it is and how much it has changed me as a person. Yeah.
How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
27.
Okay. Nice, man. And what are you, if you don't mind my asking? Just out of curiosity.
What am I?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about my ethnicity?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm a whole bunch of stuff, man. I got
I can tell.
French? I've got Hawaiian. I've got Irish.
Not surprised.
My dad is a Northern European, so I'm that too. And then, but my dad was adopted, right? And his dad's Mexican.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
So is your dad tall or short, out of curiosity?
6 feet.
6 feet? That's not bad.
A generous 6 feet, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what.
How many years you been into this?
Are you talking about
into this Christian thing? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I grew up praying. That was like one of the first things I learned was the Lord's Prayer. Speaking English. And
Oh, okay.
so I was like, grew up in that. But I mean, you know how it is? You can be Christian, but you're not like really Christian
Right. Yeah.
because you don't fear the Lord. And so like I've only recently started like reading the Bible every single day, like recently. And
Yeah.
and paying my tithings and doing all those good stuff. So
Right.
that's recent, but yeah.
Huh. Are you a preacher?
yeah,
Are you a preacher or a minister or
no.
something?
Well, no, I'm not a minister. I'm not licensed or anything like that. I don't even go and imposing anything on anybody. I accept people for who they are.
They have
But it really is
licenses for
helpful.
that stuff now?
I'm sure. Well, I would think so.
Dang. That's terrible. Who hands out the license?
Probably some kind of biblical institution. I don't know.
Man.
I could be wrong, but
Yeah. You do
Yeah.
JLP's silent prayer?
oh yeah, I do that as well. Yep, I do that as well 3 times a day, maybe even more sometimes.
You working?
Am I working? Yeah, I'm working.
Nice. You have all.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Gotta
man.
work, man.
Yeah. Hawaii. Wow. Well, right on, man. I wish you well. Call me again sometime.
Okay, cool.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, do I?
Let me get to JD, a first-time caller in Boston, Massachusetts. Get to a few calls here. JD, thanks for calling. What is up?
Hey, Hank, how's it going, man? Love the show.
Going well. Thank you.
So, in honor of Women's History Month, right? I wanted to ask
We don't
you a great
honor
question.
women. We cherish them.
Right, okay, we cherish them. I'm going to cherish them with this one, because this
All
one's
right.
going to make God laugh, too. I think Jesse will like this one, too. So, do you know why it's so hard for women to choose what they want to eat?
Because they can't make decisions. No, I don't know why.
Because the last time they chose, they doomed all of humanity.
Terrible. So they take it. Everything seems so serious to them, huh?
Right, that's it, man. That's why it's like, honey, what do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? And it's like, that's a setup right there.
Yep. True. I have some information about some woman who had the bright idea of outing her husband as a cheater, alleged cheater, and then so the people doxed him and tried to get him fired, and she doesn't work, so she's like, "Oh, you're gonna take away my livelihood, you people. Thank you for being angry. I'm angry too, but stop." It's terrible. These women, they need to be quiet. But yeah, I think we should choose what we eat. Not them.
You got it, man.
But sometimes they have good info because they go on IG and get these tips. But some of their tips are wrong. Like you're not supposed to stuff raw garlic up your nose to get rid of all the snot from your nose. That's not it's potentially dangerous. Maybe it does work sometimes. But then again, they tell you stuff that's dangerous for you, like sucking up water up your nose. And
yeah.
And that's not necessarily that dangerous if you don't take it too far. But some people have died from bacteria or something. It's terrible. Anyway, JD, good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, man. Love the show.
All right, take care. I hate that. My fault. I let him hang up. I let him do the click thing. I had one of my callers. Do you remember that? He's all, I'm not going to hang up too fast so that you don't hear the click. So I hung up on him. So we didn't hear the click. Ugh. I don't like the word pet peeve. I think that's dumb, silly, slightly effeminate. So I'm not going to say that word. Let me get to Azzmador. Azzmador in Texas on the line. Azzmador, thanks for the call, man. How are you doing? Are you there?
Pretty good. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuting and I muted.
Nice.
How are you, James?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. I think I had about a 2-week bout of the COVID. It appears, and I think I'm finally over it.
Right on.
I thought I sought no medical intervention. I took no vaccinations. I had a little NyQuil and miraculously survived.
Did you get any? Were you able to get any sunshine? I heard that that's sometimes good. Maybe.
No, I was locked away deep in the bunker.
Okay.
But, it probably would have helped. Yes.
Right.
I do take a lot of vitamin D, but that really doesn't activate all that well if you don't get a bunch of sunlight too.
Right.
But the thing that I was wanting to call in about, it's been on my mind, and I've been posting about it here and there. And I think, without going into all the details, when I get into this, I think you'll agree that I'm a person who knows wherever I speak here. Do everyone listening, under no circumstances, do not go and heed Trump's call to go out in the streets and protest this verdict thing. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. And I'm not saying it's a trap that Trump has sprung. I'm furthest thing from it.
Right.
But there are no good outcomes for doing this. I kind of enumerated what the best outcomes would be. There are three of what the best outcomes would be. One would be that you get just run over and mauled by a giant crowd of Antifa, BLM, and assorted immigrants of various legal statuses.
Uh-huh.
Two, you get charged with a whole ton, a big slew of felonies in a jurisdiction that ain't trying to hear about your stupid First, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment rights. Three, both options 1 and 2 occur. These are the good outcomes, and of course
Wow.
the bad outcomes. The bad outcomes being that people get hurt and die.
Yeah.
Right. We have to understand that this isn't the country that. Well, at least some older people thought that they grew up in. It's not that country anymore. You no longer have, you may have it on paper, but you no longer have the right to protest your government and to seek redress and all that. And here's the thing. Trump is a big boy, and he's got plenty of money for a team of lawyers who will have the resources to fight a resource-rich district attorney's office, and he has the conservative chattering class, the cable news, the websites, the talk radio, and all. They're all on his side, and he has tons of supporters, millions of them out there that are all on his side.
Yeah.
If you go out and you get into something like this, unless you're the very rare cause celeb like Jacob Chansley, the Q shaman guy, who gets some kind of media attention once it's too late, once he's already got pled guilty to 4 years in prison, nobody's going to be rallying to your aid. It's going to ruin you. It's going to wreck your family's finances. It's going to take you away from your home for who knows how long. And think on this too. They've already arrested over 1,000 people, most of them just for peacefully parading through the Capitol building that we used to call the People's Building.
Right.
When they were let in, when the doors were opened and they were welcomed in by the police, and some of them have even been arrested just for standing on the wrong piece of grass outside the place and charged with misdemeanors and felonies for that. And it was just yesterday or day before that the Department of Justice announced that they are going to arrest 1,000 to 1,200 more people.
Wow. Related to J6?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
The investigation is ongoing, and they are going to come heck or high water. I'll censor myself for your show, for family show. Come heck or high water, they are going to identify every single person who was anywhere near that thing, and they're going to charge people with whatever they can charge them with.
Yeah. That's the Justice Department, and they're going after Trump with regard to this classified documents thing. They're trying to convince a judge, or they've convinced a judge, that he has broken the law with a lawyer or something like that with regard to classified documents. So they're coming after him. They're coming after us.
Yeah. And they don't go after the other side that way. You know, this is what you have to understand is that when these Antifa and BLM and all, when they come at you, they attack you and they hit you over the head with these clubs that they have a flag attached to claim that it's a flagpole and all this. They're not going to get charged with anything in these jurisdictions. You know, you might see the rare thing happen, like, you know, like a dozen of them got charged in Georgia for burning down a police training facility.
Yeah.
But that's not the norm. And these people know this, and they're very, very organized. There are tons of NGOs that work with our three-letter agencies that spend money to organize and train these people to keep them from getting in trouble in the first place, and they have the National Lawyers Guild standing around collecting evidence to make sure that, they've got a case in case they do get charged with something. We don't have anything like that. The thing that if you support Trump right now, the thing to do is to stay at home, and when the primaries happen and all that, vote for him. That's what you do. That's the best you can do for him right now. There's nothing that you can do for Trump that he can't do for himself 1,000 times better.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was my impression. Even when I saw him Truth Social that, to go out and protest, I had no inclination of complying with that request by Trump.
Right.
Because he can fight for himself, like what you said. And you make a great point about the DOJ. You mentioned the DOJ is going after the January 6th people. I learned from you that they were founded to be against the whites in the South. Like the Department of Justice was founded not on good grounds, but to basically force the federal government into the South and meddle in the affairs of the states down there.
Yeah, and it's still that way. If you recall, back during the Obama administration, I can't remember what the particular hearings it was, but they had Eric Holder in front of the Senate, and one of the senators got him off kilter and upset, and he angrily almost shouted that the Civil Rights Act was not written to protect the rights of white people.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that. That was toward the beginning of the Obama first term, I think. I vaguely remember hearing a story like that. I came into politics kind of later. From listening to the
there's video of it. There's video of it on YouTube. Unfortunately, it's hard to find because of the way YouTube memory holds everything now. But it's there if you look hard enough for it. But the other thing that we've got to understand is we don't really live in a nation the way that we understand a nation anymore. You hear all these politicians now suddenly talking about a national divorce and everything, and we really do live in a divided nation. And unfortunately, it's not divided along geographical lines the way that people think when they say red state, blue state. I mean, your neighbor can be completely divided against you, has a completely different idea of what the country's supposed to be about. You'll have one neighbor who's or one house that's a Christian family that believes in the Constitution and the traditions of America and limiting immigration and the rule of law and all that. And then you've got the house right next to them is some people who hate the very idea of every single one of those things. Yeah. And so, it's any time that you step out, it's a real dicey thing. And just think of what they're doing, and I know you've covered this. I've watched you cover this. Look at what they did to those people in Tennessee and in a couple other places who peacefully protested an abortion clinic. They didn't go inside the abortion clinic. They just stood there and sang. And the next thing you know, they have FBI agents showing up at a man, more than one, but there was the video of them showing up at a man's house, pointing rifles at his wife and children and stuff, hauling him off and refusing to even say what he was charged with. Now, this isn't this isn't the America that you think it is if you think it's okay to go out and mass protest stuff.
Right.
They'll let the left do this all day long.
Yeah.
The left can go out, they can protest, they can set things on fire, they can and literally invade Congress violently and all that. And they're not going to do anything. But if a conservative or just a regular middle of the road American decides that he wants his voice heard, the consequences aren't going to be all that great. And for those with a martyr complex who think that we should go out and do this anyway, and to heck with the results, we did the right thing. Well, consider this. There's a long, long battle ahead of us, and it's a spiritual battle, as Jesse says, and as the Bible says.
Yep.
It's a spiritual battle, and you're not going to be any good to that battle if you're sitting in prison or completely bankrupted, and you're taken out of the fight once that happens. And nobody who cares about you wants that to happen. So you need to think clearly. All this, let's run out and protest right now. That's emotional stuff.
Yeah.
Think clearly. Use your reason. Listen to your gut. It's not a good idea, and it won't help Trump.
Yep, it's true. You mentioned the FBI. I learned that the ADL, they tweeted several years ago that they train something like every FBI member, the Anti-Defamation League. So they're not just involved in Google and AI and YouTube and Facebook. They're involved in the government.
Oh yeah, and they have programs even for like local police stations. That would be an interesting thing. If you want to be some kind of an activist, one of the things to do is just expose stuff from home. Whatever they call it in your state, the federals they call it a Freedom of Information Act request, and I know in Texas they call it an Open Records Act request. Find out what it is and ask very specifically, what, if any, ADL training or materials have been provided to so-and-so police department, your local police department, and see what you find out.
I'm sure there's plenty in L.A. My goodness.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'd be surprised how far it goes.
Yeah.
They really do have their fingers in every little thing. But, yeah, I haven't called in a while, and, I don't know that it's going to happen today. I don't know that it's going to happen at all.
Right.
I think it's likely that they're going to try to charge Trump with something, but if they do, I believe they have a very bad case that he will absolutely win on appeal. If and this is a very big if there's not a spoiler, aka an honest person on the jury who nullifies the whole thing by refusing to convict.
Nice.
Because this hush money business that they're charging him with, even if it's applicable, the state statute is a misdemeanor. And if they charge Trump and convict him of a misdemeanor, so what? That doesn't stop him from running for anything, right?
Right.
If they try to charge him with a felony, according to the legal pundits that I've seen discussing this, and I guess they're the experts, not me, so with a grain of salt, I'll take their word on it. If they charge him with a felony, because they're saying this is like a campaign finance fraud that they used somehow because of a clerical error, they
exactly
used campaign money or they didn't disclose it. If they charge him with the felony, that's a federal crime over which Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan district attorney, nor any district attorney in New York State has any jurisdiction over, and the feds already looked at this and passed on it. They said there's no case there.
He doesn't care, Alvin Bragg.
Well,
he doesn't strike me as one who does.
Or whoever it is that is behind it.
Right.
There's a story on Gateway Pundit, and I always take anything I see on Gateway Pundit with a grain of salt because sometimes they've got good reporting and sometimes Jim Hoff just makes stuff up.
Wow.
But they're claiming that Alvin Bragg is, the headline, it says rumblings, Deputy AG Meg Rice, not a Christian, maybe behind Trump indictment, DA Alvin Bragg isn't smart enough.
Oh, interesting. I could believe that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But even still, it's it seems so flimsy, and there's such a reach. It's basically on a little technicality, and they're pretending like they care about this, and they're pretending like it's not politically motivated.
When it's all said and done, and all this, and the country's been torn apart by this, and you know, it turns out that there was no there, right?
Yeah.
I think that everyone involved in manipulating this case into an actual criminal case, or even bringing it to a grand jury for an indictment, I think they should get the same treatment that the district attorney in the Duke lacrosse case got. They should never be allowed to be lawyers again. They should never hold any kind of public office again. And some honest prosecutor should look into criminal charges against them.
That would be reasonable, but I think that's too reasonable.
Oh, well, yeah, it's pie in the sky.
Yeah.
Pie in the sky.
So is. Man, what a shame. You were for the trucker protests, I think, up in Canada.
Yes.
Of the, I think it was the shutdowns in the name of the virus, right?
Right.
What was the
outcome? I thought that was a
of
good
that?
one. Well, the outcome of it was that they eventually ran everybody off, and they charged just a handful of the organizers with some stuff. But the long-term outcome of it is that their parliament is branding them Nazis, and the conservatives, imagine this, the conservatives are not standing up for them.
Yeah.
And they're trying to pass, they're either trying to or they have passed a bunch of new legislation to stop that from ever happening again. Yeah, I thought the trucker protest was a completely different thing. It was just a sudden grassroots thing that exploded, and because of the nature of it, the government really had no way to respond to it. It was, it's like, okay, we're going to, not only are we going to stop delivering stuff, we're going to shut down the capital city. And it went on for quite a bit, and I liked it, but I wouldn't, and there are some other ones kind of like that, over in the Netherlands and Belgium and a couple of places where they're putting farmers out of business purposely by making these unreasonable nitrogen emission laws. You know how much nitrogen their crops can let off and everything.
Environmentalism.
They're using their heavy equipment to shut stuff down, and they've had some pretty good victories. They just got I can't remember the name of the party, but it's the party behind those. This was formed by those farmers. They didn't win a majority because, in a parliamentary system, you've got a bunch of parties, but they're now the biggest party in that parliament. So the coalition has to listen to them a little bit now. And, but there was a lot of really, really fun video that came from that, and a lot of crazy video that came from it. There was video of cops when somebody would drive by in a huge tractor, taking shots at the tractor, but there was also video of when the cops would get out of line, these guys with the manure spreaders, the fertilizers that were full of manure, they just drive past them and cover them in a mound of manure. But they, it seems to be working for them. But but despite all that, I think that in the type of age that we live in, at least at this time, this trying to do mass protest and organizing mass protests and getting out in the streets and all that is a bad deal. And it's not just a bad deal if you're doing it in New York or L.A. or San Francisco or D.C. or wherever. Even if you live in a conservative town, if it's a fairly large town, 50, 60,000 people or more, you're really putting yourself in danger because, unfortunately, even in these conservative areas, law enforcement will come down on you. The left is organized enough that no matter where you try to have a protest, they will bus in Antifa and BLM and so forth, and they will have their Lawyers Guild agitators who will be on the scene to claim that you started it, and you'll end up with a bunch of people arrested. I'm not going to for the sake of brevity, but I can list off a bunch of cases in small towns where you would have never thought such a thing would happen, that it absolutely did.
Yeah, I mean, there were Proud Boys arrested in Modesto, and they shut down our straight pride rally in front of the abortion clinic last year or 2 years ago in a matter of less than a half an hour into the protest, because Antifa was picking a fight, and some of the Proud Boys went in and fought them, and so the cops came in and shut down the whole thing and kicked us off. It was a waste. It was a waste of energy and time. And then those guys got a arrest record now.
Right. A violent arrest record.
Yeah,
right?
It's ridiculous.
And here's another thing. If I could just shift a little bit, because I know what the criticisms will be from the "we've got to do something" people, right? Uh-huh. All of the dumbest things that you see getting done, and just about everything that you see getting done as far as public activism goes, when it comes to right-wing causes or pro-white causes or whatever it might be, is very, very dumb and very counterproductive. And the reason, if you criticize it, people say, well, we've got to do something. Well, no. True. If that's the best reasoning you've got, it's not good. And the one thing that I go back to, and this is the thing that I learned I knew the concept myself, but Jesse put it so simply and perfectly. When the way forward is not clear and you don't know what to do, the thing to do is to do nothing. Yeah. Wait and see what happens. That's what we have to be doing. We have to keep a clear mind. We have to use our logic and our faith and all that. Avoid the emotional stuff, right? And watch for an opening, right? Yeah. Watch for the event that changes things, and be ready when that happens. And I'm not Fed posting here. Right. I'm saying be ready to run a candidate or to do a protest or whatever it might be when the time is right. And the time has never been more wrong than now. And if we haven't learned that from UTR and J6 and a dozen other smaller things, then we're not capable of learning. Yeah.
No, it's obvious. We don't have the same rights. The government is against us. I appreciate it, Azzmador. Great call.
Yeah.
And I'll be on your show soon. It sounds like your internet's hopefully functioning properly now.
Yes, the internet's working great. You're welcome anytime. Just to get hold of me. I'm waiting for you to set a date.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right. You too.
All right. He mentioned UTR. That's the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. That's the one that I talk about all the time. Anytime I talk about how I appreciate Trump, because the whites were protesting the tearing down of the beautiful Confederate monuments, the American hero, Robert E. Lee, the great American general, and Confederate American general as well. They were protesting the tearing down of the monuments. They had their right to be there, but the alt-left, as Trump called them, went after them. And the cops let it happen, didn't keep the parties separated, and the right wing got in trouble. And they're still in so-called legal trouble to this day, persecution from the government and the media. What a shame. To this day. Anyway, guys, it is the top of the hour. I will get to more interesting clips. But first, it's time for some music. It is Women's History Month. Lordy. This is Hip Hip Hooray, Hippopotamus by Mary Rice Hopkins. It is children's music. It's Christian, though, guys. And you musical Philistines, you can cover your ears. You can press mute. You can hit pause and then fast forward. Or you can grin and bear it, and you're going to like it. And I'll be right back for hour 2 Enjoy and hang tight.
Up so high on the very top, he placed the sky. God's fingerprints are everywhere, just to show how much he cares. And in between, he had loads of fun. He made a hippo who weighs a ton. Hip, 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 hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Hip, 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 hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, he made us. Creation sings of his praise, the sparrow and the tiny babe. And we can sing and say, well done, but some things he just made for fun. Hip, 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 hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Hip, 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 hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, he made us. In the beginning, God made the sea and the forest filled with trees. He made the mountains up so high, on the very top he placed the sky. God's fingerprints are everywhere, just to show how much he cares. In between, he had loads of fun.
Fake singing?
Made a hippo who weighs a ton.
Hip,
Hip, hip, hippopotamus. Hip, hip,
I remember we did this
made all of us.
hand signals for this.
Hip, hippopotamus.
Hip, hip, hooray, he made us. I was a little kid singing this.
Hip, 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 hippopotamus.
Hip, hip, hooray.
God made all of us. Hip, 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 hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray,
So
he
good.
made us.
Oh my goodness. Hey, is this really a cry for help? SMH shaking his head. Steve C. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful music. Let's read some super chats, shall we? Super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Caught in the middle. Caught in the middle. Caught in the middle 0823 on YouTube. That's his That's his tag. Hake, my guy, thank you again for showing up last night. And for anyone who didn't catch our discussion, jump over to the YouTube channel, Caught in the Middle. Great talk, and thanks again, James. Well, thank you, man. Thank you, Matthew, with one T, from Caught in the Middle. I was on episode 1 of Caught in the Middle. Check it out. It was a fun conversation. It was cool. We talked about Black Lives Matter, talked about Trump, talked about Sleepy Joe. I don't think we called him that. We called him Biden, or the current office holder. And it was cool. Talked about the police. Ahmaud Arbery, but I pronounced it the nice way. Ahmaud Arbery. Nick called it a great crystallization of how you see things. Nice. Yeah, Nick helped me out. Nick, the anchor baby, host of Nick's stream. Cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Thanks for the support and the super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. John WX25 with the super chat. Joe is on the phone with YouTube. Sleepy Joe from Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, you getting suspended. 26 out of 30 African countries are not on board with the Alphabet Gang. Really? 26 do not support the LGBTIQ agenda? Nice. Maybe this week I'll play this dykey-looking, with piercings, brown gal who's a second-grade teacher. You're no Mrs. Cianfrini. That was my second-grade teacher. Doxxed. Shout out to Mrs. Cianfrini. I cherish Mrs. Cianfrini. Great second grade teacher. I cherish Mrs. Otter, great fifth grade teacher. I cherish Mrs. Gustafson, my my kindergarten teacher. Rest in peace. She died from the China virus, allegedly. Nice. Evil is real. Bought me a coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. JLP Manhood Hour, says he, should be renamed the McRib Sandwich Hour. Just rib after rib after rib. Meaning woman, right? They use rib instead of woman. I don't know where it came from, but I learned that that's what the chat does, the snake pit. Rib after rib after rib. Calling in and getting put on. It is really awesome that I cannot even remember the last time a rib called your show. Oh, that's cool. Your whole show is double Manhood Hour. Good job, my man. Well, thank you. Evil is real. Appreciate that. Thanks for the coffee. Spoiler alert gave me a tip yesterday. You guys know that my whole show got derailed by Kentucky John claiming that Egyptians were black. Not my whole show, but I'm not even interested in the subject, and people called in about it. Denny from Bulgaria called in with some great Egyptian history, and other people called and super chatted. Reminder that the ancient Egyptians, says spoiler alert, were the first people known to invent and use sunscreen. Sunscreen. This fact alone is enough to show that they weren't Negroes. Parentheses, until the society collapsed. Terrible. Interesting. They invented sunscreen. Well, thank you, Egypt. Hat tip to you. Maybe they were white Negroes. Nice. Yeah, Eve was made with Adam's rib. That's why they call women ribs. Shout out to the ribs. We cherish ribs. Nick says, we are all Negroes. Negro spirituals. I'm troubled in mind. I'm troubled. If Jesus don't help me, I surely will die. That's a Negro spiritual. Thank you guys for the support over there. Check Rumble, check Odyssey. We're fine over there, I think. Nice. Do you want to hear about exterminating white people, or do you want to hear about this lady, nutty lady? Let me play this nutty lady. I don't want to hear about us exterminating white people. It's old. Maybe I'll get to it later. So this is nutty lady on TikTok. Clip 11A. This is her telling her story that ultimately put the battery on crazy strangers back, according to Mrs. Jelly Santos, a competitor, radio host, of whom I'd never heard. But I'm sure she's great. We cherish her. So the story is, she's all, do not tell the internet all your business. This lady posted that her husband cheated. It went viral. Now people trying to get him fired. Now her financial stability is at risk because they're a one-income household. Now she's afraid for her future. But here's the setup, the beginning of it. And I don't have the clip where she actually tells that her husband did anything, like allegedly. But here's this woman who has a TikTok name that I feel like I shouldn't repeat. Running her mouth, being all nutty, and she looks mildly attractive. Really, really legitimately mildly attractive. But once she starts talking, it's like, oh no. Poor husband. Minute and 31 seconds. Clip 11A, finally.
You in the comments, ladies. My man would never. I thought so too. I thought so too. Trust me.
Whoa.
Whoa. So we had a work convention in Vegas, some kind of construction convention. I'll look into it. This is happening to me right now. I don't have all the deets. I will get them though. I'm a Virgo. You better believe I'm gonna get every shred of evidence I can. Okay, babes? Okay,
Virgo,
don't worry
not a
about
Christian.
that. I've got it. Cheers to 6 years. Look at my man. He's so loyal. I love him. Well, we had a great weekend.
Baby crying.
It's time for me to come home. Do you hear my children? Hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to make this as fast as possible because there's so much. Okay, so we had the weekend. Beautiful weekend.
Crazy like
Great anniversary trip. Couldn't have been better. Make a sweet profile picture. Look at us and how happy we are. Our life is great. I thought my life was great. I thought everything was fine. We had some issues last year because he's an idiot. Was not infidelity. He's just stupid because he's a man.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So, had the great weekend. He stayed for work. Apparently on Thursday night, he went to dinner. He went back to Vanderpump Cocktail Gardens with his work people. TMI. It was a work event. And then I guess they all decided to go to the strip club. I have nothing against strip clubs. I have something against going to a strip club alone in Vegas while hiding it from your wife.
Whoa. Sorry, kids. Maybe I should have bleeped strip club. Crazy, huh? What a sad mess. And she's even, I don't know if she's a normal white. She's purportedly white. Baseball cap. Oh. Lady Seesaw. Can't blame her husband. Nick, I cheat too, bro. I disavow. No wonder he left. He didn't leave. He didn't leave. He did not leave. But anyway. Why is she allowed on TikTok? Her husband's probably a simp. Not as nutty as the vegan teacher says. Strip is a swear. Yeah. This TikTok is worse than cheating, says Nick. Yeah. Yeah. Big Bump is even saying, okay, I understand why he cheated. You guys are making jokes. You're joking, right? Yeah. Nah. Don't do that.
Holy
Oh, here it is. Here. You guys want it? Okay, Nick wants to move this along. He's like, come on. He's playing the thing in advance. Clip 11B. Now she's afraid for her future, and she cusses. Here it is. But I bleep it.
Holy Hi, everyone. I want to start by saying thank you for all of the love and support and the feminine rage.
Feminine rage.
I'm angry and you're angry for me, and I get it because I'm in this too, but please, my life has been torn upside down. We are a one-income household. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Mom.
Please don't threaten, and please don't try to call my husband's place of work. You're just going to...
She's about to cry.
You're
or
just
pretending to.
This is my life. And I never, in a million years, would have thought that this would blow up the way it did. Clearly it's striking a chord with women everywhere.
Psh, women.
And I talked to my husband today. I talked to him. And he said to leave it all up. He said to leave it all up.
Leave her posts
So I'm leaving
up.
it. He knows it's there. He is ashamed. Nothing is getting solved. I'm shaking. Nothing is getting solved today. Nothing's getting solved tomorrow. I have children. I know we're angry. I'm so angry. I'm so angry at him, but please, guys, there are other ways to support me. And cutting off my financial stability is not it. I beg of you, please.
What a mess. You did all this to yourself, dumb lady, says Jake _N35. Wow. Cringe drama. So Jelly Santos says, according to the story, the rumors, the gossip, he stayed in Vegas without her, right? Had a party with the strippers. Says he was drugged at the club and doesn't remember anything. She posted a video throwing his clothes out the crib. What does that mean, out the crib? The baby crib? What were the clothes doing in the baby crib? Maybe she means the house. Is this woman black? Why is she talking all black? This reporter woman. Oh, yeah. Mrs. Jelly Santos looks like a light-skinned black. Out of the house. Threw his clothes out of the house. People found his Facebook and the rest of his life. Now people keep calling his job. Now she's a victim. Evil people, huh? Evil people. And the world makes stuff up. It's ridiculous. Call his job. He cheated. He had sex out of wedlock. Oh dear, sex out of wedlock. Give me a break. As you heard on Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, a wiser woman said, "I don't think it's a big deal. It's something that sometimes happens, and you work through it, and it's not necessarily even. I think she didn't even say necessarily. It's not grounds for divorce. Even this quote where Jesus said, except for marital unfaithfulness, if you divorce and get remarried, or if you divorce, you make them, cause them to commit adultery. Except for marital unfaithfulness is because you've already committed adultery. But he wasn't necessarily saying that it was grounds for divorce when somebody cheats. I know some guys who are like, oh, it's over automatically. And I feel like the women are the women just as likely to cheat? I don't know. Maybe not. They're not as into this sex stuff. But they're a mess. And they're tempted to turn into more into that sex stuff. Terrible. Sorry, kids. I just had to share that. This is ridiculous. I noticed that gal was a little bit less mildly attractive the second time around without her cute baseball cap, and maybe didn't have as much makeup on, so her face looked kind of empty. Or something. Didn't look quite right. Maybe she did that on purpose to look more pathetic. Women, feminine rage. You need counseling with JLP. There have been interesting conversations. There were some interesting conversations at church with Jesse Lee Peterson over the years, and especially even just this past church service on Sunday. Women cheat even more, Hake. Yes, says Jake and Jake underscore N35, a reliable source. They're way more into this stuff more than you think. Nowadays, yeah. Because they're so like degenerate trying to copy the men and get into that. Hake cracked, he's growing. Yeah, feminine rage is so good for you, women. Women identifying with this mess. All suspicious. Women will make stuff up from their imaginations like crazy, and they'll believe it. And they'll make all these connections and think that they're seeing. Really, they're getting into their heads and their imaginations, and she's miserable, and she doesn't have to be miserable. And he told her to leave it up, leave all these TikTok posts up so they can, what, so they can keep calling his show? What? That's dumb. No wonder she's mad. Her husband is a mess, too, apparently, if she's telling the truth, if they're telling the truth. So, anyway. Terrible. And her baby crying in the background. Meanwhile, she's being all sassy and cutie on, fake cute on TikTok. Being all wild reminds me of me. You know how I get all wild on camera? Ridiculous lady. Anyway, let me get to some more super chats, shall we? Jordanos with the super chat says, Donald Trump on Truth Social did say to go out and protest, but then Dick Morris was saying he changed his mind about it because the Antifa thugs will come out looking and rioting against DJ. Donald Trump. Donald J. DJ. Again, DJ Nickstream, Speedy Gonzalez. Do you like mojitos? I'm stereotyping. I disavow. Isn't that an alcoholic drink? Isn't that a gay drink? I don't know. Oh, speaking of, I never got to allow Nick to clear the record on whether he got the vax. Oh, he said he never even had one. A mojito. John WX. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Loves soda, does not like juice, gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Wow, Hake, not knowing that woman was made from a rib, quote unquote, in the Bible, and that is why they are called ribs. I wish I could take back my support for that one. No, I knew that. It's just that I neglected to mention it. So somebody reminded me. Let me just double check over here. Yeah, sure, Nick, you want to clear the record?
I appreciate your care with that too, by the way, on not saying if you were vaccinated or not. That's no one's business.
Yeah.
But I've already made that mistake and said that out loud. I also sent my DNA into Ancestry to get, so I've made that mistake as well.
And I'm not even sure that's that big of a mistake. I know. Who cares? But I haven't done it, and I just feel like it's trendy to do it.
But I'm on the registry, the DNA registry.
Wow. So there's going to be some little Nick clones, little anchor baby clones walking around.
No, I haven't taken any vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine, and I traveled. Here's why I wanted to say this.
Right.
I traveled, and maybe it's because it was the right time.
Yeah.
But when I went on the plane, and there's liars in the chat saying, "Oh, these." We're definitely vaxxed because if we flew into LA,
right?
Not true.
Yeah,
I'm not vaxxed, and I flew even internationally. So.
And you didn't even have to lie about, oh yeah,
nope.
I got the vax, because I disavow lying. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, no, I flew internationally as well. So.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Nice. To Canada.
Exactly.
And Canada's Nazi commie about the vax and all that mess.
Yep. I was traveling with someone, but because they were with a Canadian citizen, it was fine.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Right on.
I actually eked out a Canadian citizenship before I left.
Right on. So there you have it. To my caller, Mumbles. I'm blanking on your name, man. I'm not just trying to be disrespectful. Your friends call you Mumbles, so I'm calling you Mumbles. And you do mumble sometimes. But I understand you. Jeff from Louisiana. He called in. Why you downplay the vax? I act like it's not that important. Meanwhile, you guys had to get it. Well, it doesn't mean that you should be promoting it as this great thing. Not that I hold it against Trump for promoting it as a great thing. It's the mandates we're not for. Azzmador says, I like my ribs smoked with spicy barbecue sauce. Nice. Shout out to the Facebook crew. I see you guys. Right on. So, you want to hear about the school strikes yesterday, Tuesday, in Los Angeles? According to the far-left females at the Skim, tens of thousands of Los Angeles Unified School District employees were expected to begin their 3-day strike. So it's happening yesterday, today, and forever. No, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. God is yesterday the same yesterday, today, and forever. The move means the nation's second largest school district, behind which one? NYC? Something? Chi-Town, maybe? I forget. Will cancel classes for its more than 500,000 students. 500,000. Scheduled strike comes after the negotiations between the district and the union representing the bus drivers, special ed assistants, special education. Special ed, that means for like the slow guys, slow people, special needs, retarded kids. Custodians, which is janitors, and cafeteria workers. Their talks broke down. Evil versus evil. They couldn't make a deal. The union says staffers make an average of $25,000 a year. What? $25,000? I don't know. That used to be plenty. You used to be able to survive on $20,000 a year. Did you know that? Maybe you still can. That's what I learned when I was in high school. They're calling for a 30%, as you heard on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, wage increase. An additional $2 an hour for district's lowest paid employees. but the district's not meeting those demands. Now LA Teachers Union, and I mentioned one of the guys said, "Oh, you're going to drive us to bankruptcy. We can't operate in the red. We can't operate like that." The LA Teachers Union called on its 35,000 members to protest in solidarity, which is a communist buzzword. So you have commies in LA County or LA Unified School District. The district's superintendent, and really they're everywhere, said he's ready to resume negotiations whenever the union's ready. In a statement, the union said it knows a strike will be a sacrifice, but the district pushed the workers. And you don't push workers. If they're not workers, if they're not working, it's no workers. You know what I mean? I know some guys who are, I know a janitor buddy of mine, but he's not with LA Unified. Show us your shirt, Hake. It's the Great Black Hope. The Great Black Hope. Lock Your Door designed it. On jcleepeterson.com. And I think this is available on, I forget which store we're using now. Society 6? Yeah. Society 6. But you can find it by going to the rebuildingtheman.com/stores is the go-to place. And then from there you can jump off and do your hunt. What a mess. Move the laptop, Hake? Oh, this thing? Yeah, I don't know. And you know what else is going on? It's not just the kids that they're pushing the SJW stuff. It's the old folks. Biden forces SJW investment, social justice warrior investment, in your retirement funds. Who's giving a final say? President Biden. The far-left females at the Skim reported yesterday. Monday, Sleepy Joe issued his first veto of his presidency. He vetoed a bill over retirement investments. The move upholds a labor department. Labor, which has nothing to do with actual work, I say. Labor department rule allowing retirement fund managers to consider the environmental and social impacts of their investments. Environmental and social impacts of their investments allows, quote unquote, allowing retirement fund managers to consider, it's kind of like ESG, is that the thing is? ESG, environmental, social governance, something like that. That has to do with, oh, do they support Black Lives Matter? Oh, do they support environmentalism, stopping climate change? Dumb stuff like liberal propaganda, communist propaganda, global homo mess. Earlier this month, Congress passed a bill to scrap that rule. The Labor Department rule allowing retirement fund managers. You know, these SJWs, the communists, the enemies of America, the people who hate whites, people who hate Christians, people who hate men, people who hate babies. Oh, if you don't support abortion as a Kwame capitalist corporation, then we're not gonna invest in your business to make money for Johnny's his retirement fund. What a mess. So the Republicans called it a woke policy. Oh, I forgot to get my... That was a premature spit. Republicans. Now Biden's rejected this bill. I mentioned this in Hake News yesterday, right? Biden's rejected the bill, saying Congress's measure would have put retirement savings of individuals across the country at risk. Dumb. That makes no sense, Sleepy Joe. You're lying. You're a liar. You lie. Any effort to override Biden's veto is unlikely to pass in the House and Senate because I think it requires like a 2/3 vote to override, something like that. I took civics back in high school, right? Or something. Ridiculous. So that's why I call them Republicans. Terrible. Speaking of retirement, the commies are in France, and France is a bunch of liberals, right? Commies versus commies. The far left females at the Skim reported, I don't know when this was. Yesterday they reported this, and this has happened a few days ago. French President Emmanuel Macron, who is married to that woman who's 35 years older than him, or 25 or so, I don't know. She was 35 and he was 15, something like that. Or 30, I don't know. When they met, she was his teacher. Mildly attractive. It seems dirty to just call the woman mildly attractive. Never mind that. Rewind. Emmanuel Macron's government survived 2 no-confidence votes. Oh, yeah, they tried to get rid of him because they don't have confidence in him because he's a beta. Now he has this plan which triggered nationwide communist union protests. The unions, I say, will gradually increase the retirement age by 3 months each year until it reaches age 64 in 2030. Yeah, so the retirement age in France was 62, but because they're not making white babies or something, and then they're bringing in all these so-called migrants who don't work enough to pay into the Ponzi scheme. Is it a Ponzi scheme? I learned Ponzi scheme from maybe Nick, the anchor baby. That a Ponzi scheme is when you pay in, when the new people who are paying into it are actually funding the old people who already paid into it. Because the old people who, when they paid into it, that was supposed to make enough money back in investments that the old people could live off of what they paid into it. But that's Social Security, supposedly in America. Thanks a lot, not FDR, the bad Roosevelt, not to be confused with Teddy, who was the good Roosevelt, I think. So apparently they have that socialist communist mess in France, too. The educated people are not making babies, right? The whites are not making the babies. I imagine in France, if it's anything like the rest of like America or the other white countries, white's a minority, declining, as you heard from my caller who said the goy word, and then he hung up all quick, like, what? Didn't even understand the point of his call. So let me play this clip 15. I've been meaning to get to this. This is France riots over retirement age. Rioting over retirement age? You're worried about the future. You have no present. Communists. They're not for anything real. They're not against anything real. They're against racism and whatever, Here it is.
French cities grinding to a halt. In the capital, thousands of people taking to the streets after French President Emmanuel Macron forced through an unpopular bill that raises the retirement age from 62 to 64 years old. And he did it without a vote. Nice. Protesters tonight throwing bottles at a police barricade and setting tires on fire. Police responding with tear gas and water cannons. Across every major city tonight, similar scenes. A woman in Lyon saying the air was so thick with tear gas she couldn't breathe.
She couldn't breathe. I don't know. It doesn't sound like France was on the up and up either. Because they didn't do a vote thing. They forced this thing through. So maybe it's been a long time coming. They had the yellow vest protests, and I don't know what those were about. And am I wrong for calling them communists? I feel like I read somewhere that these were union people, labor unions, telling these guys to work themselves up into a frenzy. And by the way, somebody tweeted about this. He tweeted that video. There was a poor audio quality. I think Krasenstein, not a Christian, I don't think. Ed Krasenstein. I think we had either Ed or his brother, Krasenstein, on the Jesse Lee Peterson show before they got kicked off Twitter for something. They were doing shenanigans, but they're back on Twitter now. Congratulations, Krasensteins. They're anti-Trump liberals, foreigners. I feel like they're foreigners because have these weird last names. They're not very American, not very Christian. But anyway, breaking after French president, this is days ago, March 17th. Oh yeah, it was Friday. I meant to get to this since Friday. After French president Emmanuel Macron decided to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64, the French took to the streets rioting and protesting to show their displeasure. This also happens to be the Republicans' plan in the United States. He said Republicans. They want to raise the age that Americans can get Social Security all the way up to 70 years old. Nice. I say nice, not, I don't know, whatever. In 2022, they released a proposal to do just that. Take note, Republicans, Americans, like the French, will not approve. It's crazy. Evil versus evil. We never should have had that. You know, I played a clip maybe some weeks ago of Tucker talking about how Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. It is a Ponzi scheme. It's a scam. I've heard from Based Sean Hannity 10 years ago, 12 years ago maybe, that if they privatized it, it would be making money. It would be actually making money rather than just sucking up money. And people say that, somebody said in the chat one time that Social Security is just a slush fund. You know, when you every time you make a paycheck, the government takes out Social Security. Oh, so you have security. It's a safety net. Dumb. But they don't encourage the whites to be having babies. As the great Congressman Steve King, ousted by the rhinos, the Republicans, and the Democrats, the Demon Rats and New York Slimes, he said about Obamacare. Obamacare is evil. Obamacare funded so-called birth control. Birth control, we need to be having more babies, not fewer, said the great Congressman Steve King, who has spoken at AFPAC. He's been on the Hake Report before. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Former Congressman Steve King of Iowa. We need to be having more babies. But no, they're not encouraging babies. They're encouraging an unrelenting stream of immigrants into this country. Yeah, the white men of my European stock will be an absolute minority. It's not a bad thing. It's a source of our strength. That's Sleepy Joe talking when he was vice president under Obama, pushing the unrelenting stream of illegals and other foreigners into the country who are not benefiting the country that much. Yeah, I know they made what's that thing that got taken down by Twitter? They made Periscope, proudly made in the USA by immigrants. They actually said that as their opening screen, Periscope, as a thumb in the nose to Trump. And then they got bought by Twitter, and then they got shut down. And Twitter's live streaming is inferior to Periscope's, by the way, in many ways. Nice impression, Hake. Terrible impression, Hake. Unrelenting. You're making me try again. An unrelenting stream. And he's doing that. I heard on, you heard from Azzmador first hour. I heard on his show, he covered an article by Federale, and I mentioned it, I think the following day after I heard it. Federale, fifth columnist.wordpress.com. He covers the immigration thing. They're shipping, I heard, 30,000 foreigners, from Haiti and different places, into the country every month, something like that. And this whole Title 42 thing is just a distraction. It's like a drop in the bucket compared to the foreigners that are flooding in. Crazy. So, yeah, I thought it was Clint Eastwood, honestly. I know, I said it too gruff, too manly. communism, socialism, global homomonism is not sustainable. They're all about sustainable. It's not sustainable. They need Trump, competent people. You know, they have all these regulations, and they're not even following them. It's so crazy. This is a side note. There's all these, and then I'll get to calls. There's all these regulations about all these different industries. Probably the airline industry is the most regulated that it has ever been in its life, if an industry has a life, right? And then there's all these like close calls and things. Whoa, that was close. That was a close one. And these planes dipping and stuff like that. And I was reading on Commie Nonsense Network, you know, because I get push notifications from them. I have their app. Oh, man, where is it? And they're talking about FAA issues industry-wide call to action following runway close calls. The Federal Aviation Administration is telling airlines to step up vigilance at airports after a series of close calls on or near runways. Aviation safety call to action. Reinforce adherence to published processes and procedures. You can have all the rules in the world, but if you don't have quality people, they're not going to follow them. Whites follow rules. All the rest of them, they're like, Jewish people kind of do too. They make the rules. I don't know, whatever. But they're like strict. The Asians, yeah, sometimes. Although the Asians are cheaters sometimes, they're copycats. Shout out to the Asians. But people are sloppy. And then stuff is so loosey-goosey. Even the whites are like, if they work for a union, that's good enough for government work, right? Good enough for government work. Just leave it like that. Mickey Mouse job, or a Mexican job, they call it. Shout out to the Mexicans. But sometimes you guys do Mexican work and not quality work. And so I think that JLP has a point with this affirmative action stuff. Affirmative action, both de facto and de jure, written down and just by culture. People's inherent brainwashed knee-jerk reaction to the kiss up to the POCs and the women and the gays. They're training the police that way with these hit pieces on the police at the Met. And the people that they're hiring, POCs and the whites too, are lower quality. They don't adhere to standards. They don't follow all these dumb rules that the government comes up with. And some of the rules are not dumb. So anyway, Butch Conger says of Social Security, it used to be solvent. When you paid in, they invested it. It earned interest. They had a surplus. Then the government started borrowing from it and paying it back with IOUs. Had they left it alone, it would still be in the black. If they left it alone and quit paying for illegal immigrants and welfare is a big thing. Section 8 recipients, social spending, right? Who never contributed to it. Yeah, the social spending. I learned from one of my listeners is the biggest thing. They talk about, military spending. Social spending is huge. It's like 63%. Shut it down. Shut it down. Let me get to HAMZA from UTICA. Am I pronouncing that correctly? HAMZA, am I pronouncing your first name correctly?
No, HAMZA.
With an M?
Yeah.
HAMZA. And is it Utica? How do you pronounce?
Utica.
Utica. Oh, okay. And how do you HAMZA?
That's me.
I remember you've called in before. I
called in a couple times, man. You seem to hang up the phone on me.
Oh, probably. Utica, where's Utica? Is that a country or a city in California?
No, it's in New York.
It's in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, like I'm supposed to know that. I went to... Anyway, never mind. Go ahead.
I was just saying, man, I was just thinking, I was watching you, and, you're hilarious, man. I really think you're funny. And I hope this is all a shtick, man, and you're making money from this, And I hope you're getting a kick out of all this. Your rants, sometimes your rants are just, wow, man. I shake my head.
Nice.
You know, I really don't know what you're talking. I think you're loosey goosey.
Yeah.
Know? It's like you know. Here, this is how you sound. You know, it sounds like you complain a lot.
Right.
Yeah, you see, it sounds like you complain a lot, man, and you know, I hope you're getting a chick out of this, man. What's going on, man? Have you found a loved one, a woman from all this, or somebody?
That's personal. You think I didn't even tell whether I got the vax? You think I'm going to tell whether I got a girlfriend, a chick? You can't say chick.
Yeah.
That's sexist. Sorry, kids.
Do you have a partner in this life at all, man?
Partner? That's gay, man. No, I'm straight.
No, but, you know, a girl. Do you have anybody?
It's Nanya. Nanya business.
Well, you know, man, whatever's going on with you, man, you're in a great position, man, to really do.
You listen to me on Twitch, right?
I listen to, dude. I'm on your. I jumped on your website.
Oh, right.
I was listening to just the screen. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
through
man.
through the listen thing, the JLP listen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Dude. You know, I dig your shtick, man. I find you funny sometimes.
Thank you.
But I hope to God you don't. I don't think you believe what you're saying.
You believe in God?
But after listening to you, yes, I do.
Wow. Right on. How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm 40.
Okay, right on. 40.
Yeah.
High five.
Yeah. High five, man.
You saw me on Twitch, though, right? Did you see me on Twitch?
Yeah, I saw you on, dude, your videos, no, your debates on your YouTube and shit. Yeah,
oh,
man.
Keep it clean, man. There's children listening.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. No, there are no kids listening to you.
Yeah,
Get
there are.
out of here.
No, I mean, there are mothers who...
That's God forbid, man.
But the point is, don't cuss. Irregardless of whether you believe me, avoid cussing just for respect.
No.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I accept.
All right. Well, you know, listen. You know, nothing, man. You know, I really enjoy. Like, you're not Alex Jones, but you have your own thing going, and I enjoy watching you, and I hope to see a change in you coming soon. You know.
You don't believe that I believe what I'm saying?
No, you don't. But you're gonna. I think you know, because I hear you laugh. You laugh a lot when you say things. You know, sometimes come on.
I laugh, but you know. I laugh because I say stuff in a funny. I crack myself up. You know, whatever.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be laughing if you felt that way. You know.
I felt what way?
That they're bringing men into the military, they're transing the men in the military, they're castrating them, turning them into women, things like that. You know what I mean?
I said
making our military weaker.
Well, I know that they're bringing in the transgenders into the military. Obama
did that. They're doing that to the straight dudes. They're transing the military.
I never said they're transing the straight guys.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I never said that, man.
Yeah.
You misunderstood.
Yeah, they're doing it to our guys, and that's why our military sucks, and we can't win a war.
Stinks. Sorry, kids. No, man, I never said that. You are either confusing me with somebody else, or if I said that, I would not have laughed. I would not have laughed after saying something like that. I do know that they are. I do know that they are forcing.
That's how you sound.
I know that they're forcing us to pay for the transgendering surgery in the military and in the prisons.
The military.
And in the prisons. Anyway.
It's how you sound. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, so you made up you made up a story.
No, it's an example.
It's like an example of how I might talk. Oh, okay.
How you are.
Nice, man.
You
So you saw my debates on like hippy dippy round table and stuff like that?
Oh my God, man. Brother, it's shaking, man. You shake, man. You make oh my God. You know, there's no compromising you, man. You know, I really hope you're getting something out of this. You know, you're very scary in general.
Scary?
I hope you know that, yeah.
Are you that sheltered that you don't know that you don't remember?
Outside looking in, you sound like a maniac.
You're 40 years old, though. You should have a little bit of old schoolness in you that you understand how the world used to be sane.
Brother, I don't know. There's nothing you're talking about that even comes close to my reality or what, anything.
So you grew up grew up thinking that the LGBTIQ madness was fine, like that? You thought that was all fine, and you thought that whites were racist and nobody else was?
No, I never heard anything like that.
You thought that men are sexist?
I never felt anything like that, to be honest with you. I never really noticed these people much in my life. I never noticed any of these LGBTQ people. I believe they're only 3% of the population.
I think you're probably right. Oh, so you don't.
Yeah.
Utica, is that northern?
It's upstate New York.
That's what I mean.
It's a city. It's a city. It's a city in upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah, man. We have a diverse population, and just like any other city, and nobody's ever bothered me, man. And,
nice.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they're bothering you now.
You
but
working?
I guess they're bothering you.
You working?
No, I'm retired. I've done real estate. I'm good. I'm taken care of.
Wow.
I'm financially secure.
And you're literally only 40 years old and set.
I'm fine.
Nice, man. Are you an immigrant?
No. We talked about this before. I was born
Yeah,
here.
I forget. You're an anchor baby?
No, my mom and dad immigrated back in the 70s. I'm Albanian. We came in the wave back in the 70s. We came legally.
And you were born here, or you were born over there and you immigrated?
Born here. No, born here. My mom and dad immigrated. They wanted to be Americans.
Yeah.
They came here to become Americans because that's what America was, the land of immigrants, like your mom or your disgusting grandparents or whoever they were. You know, they came here for a better life.
You said my disgusting grandparents? What do you mean by that?
Whoever, you know what I'm saying, man. You know, these people, they came over from these poor-ass, you came from a poor-ass country.
Hey, keep it
All
clean.
These people came over.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
But anyway.
You know, from a sad, poor country, you know.
You think
came here to America.
You think my grandparents came from a disgusting poor country?
I think, yeah, man. That's why they came to America.
My grandparents didn't come to America. My grandparents were born in America.
Somehow they came from a country over here, buddy.
No, they were born in America.
All right, well, then their parents came over here.
No, they were born in America.
This
Some of them
country's
might
only
have been
200 years old. This country's only 200 years old. Somebody came on a boat and floated on a boat over here.
Some of them might have come from Scotland and England.
Oh yeah,
and
well,
Denmark.
yeah, your potatoes. Potatoes died.
Potatoes are Irish, man. I'm not Irish.
Your potatoes died.
I'm not Irish.
All right?
I'm not Irish. I said Scotland and England and Denmark. You ignoramus.
What's your problem, man?
What?
What?
You're trying to act like the whites are all a bunch of potato poor people.
Potatoes?
Anyway, what a mess. So Albania, are you white? Are you white or are you more Muslim?
Oh man, we're really white.
Okay. Nice, man.
Yeah,
are you Muslim or are you?
We've been around for a while.
Are you Muslim? Are you Christian or Jewish or what?
Atheist, coming out of atheist.
Your parents were atheists? I'm blanking.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't say much.
Was Albania communist? Is that why they're atheists? Communist country?
Yeah, it was a fierce atheist country.
Wow.
It was the only atheist country on the planet.
Wow, really? Serious?
Yeah, check it out, man.
Well, thanks for your call, HAMZA. Appreciate it, man.
And it's always good rapping with you, Hake. I hope you I do laugh and I do joke with you and I do say some mean things here and there, but underneath it all, man, I really hope that, you grow, and
all right.
You grow from this,
Right on.
There's talent. I think there's talent there, man.
Okay. Take care, man. Super chat from I saw a super chat from Animus on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. In Germany, which is comparable to France, except he leaves out the H, so he calls which is comparable to France. 70% of Afghans who came since 2015 are on welfare, so they don't even sustain themselves, let alone the German French seniors. I hear that some of them go back now to the Taliban are in power, now that the Taliban are in power. Good for them, says Animus. Wow. Is that true? I'm shaking my head. Nazis to Hake, says loves soda, does not like juice. You got any Jews in the basement? Hake. Well, I do disavow lying. Interesting. Thank you. Love soda does not like juice. Over on, let's check Ko-Fi. Anything new over here? John F. The documentary Anarchy USA on Uncle Tom channel YouTube has an intro by Chad Jackson, one of the guest stars from the Uncle Tom documentaries. Also appeared on The Fallen State with Jesse Lee Peterson. Excellent interview. Check it out. It was originally produced by the John Birch Society, of which JLP was a part back in the day. Well worth your time. Thank you for the tip again, man. Appreciate that reminder. Guys, this has been the Hake Report. Rick in Hampton, Virginia wanted to ask Hake's view on Trump's arrest. I don't think it's happened at this point. I don't know if it's going to happen. We shall see, but appreciate that. I cannot get to your call, and the rest of the callers cannot get to you. Because it's time for more music. This is Mary Rice Hopkins, Music Mama. It's Christian, guys. Music Mama from Christian Family, Camp Forest Home. This is Superman by Music Mama. Hope you enjoy it. And by the way, do catch the Archive Sunday Service premiere on Bond YouTube channel. It's up already on the Church with Jesse Lee Peterson podcast, rebuildingtheman.com/church. And yes, JLP is suspended on YouTube for 2 weeks. Find him on Rumble. Find him on Cozy. Find him on jlptalk.com, DLive, Odyssey, but not YouTube yet, okay? Adios, America.
I've got freckles on my nose, holes in my shoes, the wrong color clothes, and a missing tooth. I'm not Superman. God, you made me the kid that I am. Thank you, God, for who I am. I don't have to be a Superman. Thank you, God, for who I am. All I want to be is your best friend. Sometimes I trip and fall on my knees. I got scared.